You're watching Tech Talk, brought to you by Tech for Techs. We're a community that supports independent trade with the help of vendors and distributors. We're live Mondays at 8 p.m. London time, and we will be streaming to Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. You can listen to our podcasts on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon, TuneIn, Player FM, and others. And now, here's tonight's show.
Well, hello everyone. Welcome to Tech for Tech Tech's Talk. This is a live show where we help your IT business grow. We do have two guests on the show tonight, if all goes well. Let's put it that way, because we've had a few technical issues. I think we've got the ghost in the machine tonight. So let me just, 1 second.
Getting prepared for Halloween.
Let them in. So Will and Carl. So first of all, Will, can we just do a sound test on you first?
Yes.
To make
1, 2, 3, hearing you loud and clear from Scotland.
Oh, that's brilliant. And Carl, the same for you. Can you confirm or speak so we can find out if we can hear you?
Yeah, I can hear you guys. Don't know if you can hear me or not.
Lovely.
There we go. So you managed to sort it in the last 10 seconds then. That's brilliant then. So, right. Okay, guys, everyone who is watching, if you would like to comment in the chat, let us know if you can hear us and see us, as well as our guests, Will and Carl. That way we know we're not just talking to ourselves for the next hour. Right, tonight's show is going to be what's wrong with distribution. So we're going to talk about, well, what's wrong with distribution?
How it's broken and how you want to fix it.
That's it. So we've got Dan YT70W. That's an interesting name, Dan. Evening all loud and clear. So I'm wondering if that's the Dan who likes Guinness or if it's another Dan. Yeah, he's usually the first one to comment. So we've also got hi everyone from Northumberland. Sorry. It's Ken at Canny Clever, all loud and clear. And Ian Chippy One says Bond says you're loud and clear. So there we go. So sounds like we're all here. So if you didn't gather from the intro, I'm Phil. This is Jenny.
And we're your hosts for tonight.
There we go. And that's if nothing else goes wrong, because we've had a mice issue, audio's issues, all sorts. So that's how it goes, isn't it? So, right. So, and Dan has no idea why it's showing that.
Everything that can go wrong is going wrong tonight, even with Dan.
Exactly.
It's like a YouTube code.
I'm wondering if it's like a lot of issues that are going off are probably after effects of the Amazon issue last week, because we had to cancel last week's show because we couldn't even log into the streaming system last week. So that was quite interesting.
I couldn't use my accounting software. Oh, that was lovely.
Yeah. Do you guys have issues with the AWS DNS issues?
Yeah.
That's the one I used.
Yeah. I think they're blaming it on the DNS issue. I reckon it's something a little bit more, to be honest with you. But that was the easiest thing to blame.
They said that no secure information was released or anything, and everything was safe. But how can you be so sure?
Yeah, just give it a few days, and we'll figure out. We're suddenly getting 20 times more emails than normal. You'll figure it out. It has. Right. Okay. So, let's get on with the show then. So, Will, do you want to just introduce yourself? Just let everyone know who you are, what you do, what type of business you run.
Yeah, sure. I'm Will from ConsumerTec Limited now. IT Solutions. I'm based about 25 minutes away from Edinburgh in Fife in Dunfermline. I've been running my business, officially started for over 10 years now. I've got the shop, which is going good. Yeah, everything's going good. I had the fortunate experience of MSP Global last week in Solent. So I got some sunshine last week, which was good. And yeah, just plodding along, as I say.
Okay, that's good. What about yourself, Carl? If you want to introduce yourself, let everyone know who you are, what your business is, and any other information you'd like to share.
Karl from Solent Technologies down in Gosport. Probably couldn't be further away from Will if we tried. Your average computer shop, basically.
Okay, nice one. Right, let's just quickly go on with the news. Obviously, we always do the bit about TechMax, so do you want to go over that? Just bear with us, guys. If we find that the screen starts shaking, it's because I've got a mouse, as I said before. What's got a life of its own at the moment, and we have changed mouse and changed it yet again, and it's doing the same
It
thing.
likes
So
to dance. That's the
yeah,
most polite way of putting
suddenly
it.
just started dancing just as like 5 minutes before we
And
went
it's
live.
making my life miserable as it does it.
Yeah, it's a bit of a pain at the moment. So let me just put the screen share on if I can, because the mouse is jumping everywhere. No, it won't let me do it. Let me just unplug it, plug it back in again, just to get it going. The joys of live shows. And this machine's been running like for the last 2-3 hours, not a problem. So here we go. So let's put the screen share back on. Here we go. So it's kicked it off. Typical because of the issues. Here we go. Okay, so here's TechMax. Do you want to do the honors, Jen? We'll keep it nice and short and sweet today.
Yeah, basically, we're going to have TechMax again next year on the 3rd of July at Magna in Sheffield/Rodham. If all of you who have been in the past will know where that is. I have been told, and there are rumors of a possible tram stop. Now, if you know anything about councils, you know not to bank on that. But there's a rumor that there might be a tram stop at Magna, so that's pretty cool. But anyway, we are taking signups for Magna. For TechMax next year. So if you want to stand, if you want to give us some support in sponsoring us, let me know. Give me a call. Give me an email. You know the thing. I will say this: if you can sponsor us, do, because it helps us make the show better for everyone. It helps us cover the costs, and it make it even better than what it is. If the more support we get, the more it helps us help the guys that come to the show, and it gets your name out there. It says something about you that you care. And we've got a few people signed up right now. I haven't gotten all their information and everything, so that's why Phil has very limited things right now. But as soon as we get the information, they're going to go on the website. We do. I can announce the sponsor that we have so far.
Hearing feedback from someone. I don't know who that is. Sorry about that. What were you saying?
Can I announce the sponsor we have so far?
No, still waiting for information. So we have got a sponsor. We've got about 15 people signed up, but only one of them sent all the information over. So we're waiting for information. I've been told from one of them it should be tomorrow, but we'll see. So
I really wanted to give them a plug because it was really nice of them for sponsoring and everything.
Yeah.
But maybe another day.
That's it. Right. As you can probably see on the screen, guys, for those of you who are watching, my cursor's jumping all over the place.
Yeah.
So just give me a sec. Can you hear us?
Now I can.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
So it's one of those nights tonight. So the cursor's jumping all over on its own.
Yes.
I don't know how long the mic's not been working, but here we go. So,
Okay.
right, let's get on with the show. Let's get on with the show while we're here. So, right. So, we're going to be talking about distribution. What's that?
Should I ask which distributor supplied the mouse?
No, don't. Which one's this one? Yeah. I'm just looking. No, it's not actually the mouse. I unplugged it, but because I've been trying different mice. It was jumping around on its own with no mice plugged in a few seconds ago. So who knows what's going off? I think there must be some sort of frequency issue on the USB or something like that, because it just jumps around it on its own.
It's the spirit of Halloween in the air.
That's it. So we've also got great computer services watching it as well. Welsh Tech's in here as well, and Andy from Back to the Office as well. We're also getting feedback from one of you guys as well, so it's going to be one of those nights as well. So if you're not talking, try and mute your microphone if you can to avoid the feedback. Right, let's get on with the show. So distribution. We did a survey, and well, we got mixed feedback. Okay, so we asked the community, that's the Tech for Tech's community on Facebook, how distributors are performing this year compared to last year, and are they getting better or worse? Just a general question, so not any specific topic, but we got 1% of the votes said they were getting better, or a lot better, should I say. 10% said they were getting better. 73% said they were getting about the same, and 16% were saying they were getting worse. So on average, out of those, the average is they're getting worse by around about 6%. So the question is why? So we want to hear from, obviously, chat. This is a general, so we don't want you naming and shaming a specific distributor or anything like that. Be general in what you're actually saying. What I'm going to do is go through each of the points, because we did a further survey to find out which parts are they getting worse in, from anything from pricing to delivery, RMAs and so forth. And I'm going to start at the top of the list with the biggest percentage of what people said. Obviously talk to Will as well as Karl and see what their views are on it, and go from there, basically. So again, chat, if you do have any views on distribution, why they're getting worse, don't get me wrong, you can say positive things as well. And if you are from a distributor, and I do know there's some of them watching because I've already had messages from them, then obviously make yourself heard and
explain yourselves.
So we're happy. Again, this is a show about the negatives. We are going to be doing surveys about the positives as well, where you're getting better and so forth. So don't think we're just going to talk about the negatives every single time.
We did a show not too long back about why go through distribution.
Yes, we did. So we'd like to make it nice and even, and not everything negative, not everything positive. Try and find that happy balance. But there's always going to be someone who doesn't like it.
Yeah.
So, and that's how it goes. Right. So let's start off with Will. Let's just go through your first point, what you have issues with, or positives with distribution.
Yeah. What I try and do personally is share my business amongst the distributors. You know, give some business to them each month and things like that. My honest opinion of the distributors is not the distributor itself. Sometimes it's the third companies they use, like the courier services. When you're getting courier items delivered when it's out with shopping times or shop opening times and things like that. I do like the fact that I can contact one of the distributors on Teams. My account manager is very friendly and chatting back and forward on Teams, and it's dead handy if I'm looking for something if they could help me with, rather than sending an email. But yeah, I think that they've got a tough job ahead of them, distributors. Simply pricing, you know, it's difficult for them to get the right pricing compared to Amazon and eBuyer or you know, such likes. So that. So a tough one. But I think having good communication links with your account manager, and not just because you're a big company. I'm a small independent company like most of us here. I still get the same feel. I still get the same treatment. And you know, if I'm looking for something, they'll still help me compared to someone that's spending tens of thousands per month and things. So my issue with distributors just now, though, is the courier services that they're using. I don't know if you want me to name them, but getting damaged boxes, damaged cases, and the returns side of things. Getting the returns back and waiting on refunds. And for instance, here's one. I had to purchase something from Argos. It was a television, and the first thing the lady said, she handed it to me. If you've any problems, don't come back to us. Go straight to Samsung, the manufacturer. And I thought, no, my business, I paid you the money, Argos the money, so you should be
Exactly.
responsible to a certain extent. Yeah, so it's, I'm not saying distributors are like that all the time, but it's an example of what we're faced with nowadays is because you get people that work for the companies and don't know the legal terms or legal rights of a consumer or a business user. So yeah, that's my 5 tuppence worth.
Okay, that's pretty good, Will. And feel
Very
free
good.
to name third-party things like DPD or whoever else it may be,
Just not the
Parcel Force
distributors.
or whatnot. Just keep away
Yeah.
from the distributors and the
Yeah.
vendors themselves at the moment. But yeah, happy for you to do that. What about yourself, Carl? What's your first initial thoughts about distribution? Do you find it's getting better or worse? And what's the main thing? What's sort of causing you issues?
Main thing for me is I bring up the account manager and ask for supported pricing on some of the projects that we're doing, and it's the fact that supported pricing can take sort of 3-4 days for them to sort out, which is obviously no good when you're trying to actually order parts, etc.
Yeah, that's a bit of a pain when you're trying to quote for a job or something, and then you're 3-4 days behind probably someone else quoting for the job, and then beating you to it. So, yeah, totally agree there. Jen, do you just want to read building an aquarium? Just at the bottom? Oh, sorry. We'll come back to you in a second. We just go to
I don't know if you could hear me.
there. I think there's a bit of lag.
Yeah.
Building Emporium says I put an account application in with one of the bigger disties in early July this year. Only got a call back today, almost 4 months, although they did apologize profusely. There's no excuse for that.
Yeah.
There is none whatsoever. I mean, it only takes a couple of days to look at an application, and maybe 3 or 4 more to go and get the credit checks and everything. If you're not applying for the credit, it's just a matter of approval. So I would say a week or 2 at the latest. Mm-hmm. But 4 months, that's uncalled
I remember
for.
setting an account with a distributor, a really big one, and yeah, it must have been about 4 months as well. I forgot all about applying until I got an email saying, "Oh, you've been approved," and I was like, "Did I actually sign up for this?" And I had to remember what it was for. But yeah, definitely
that comes down to poor customer service.
Yeah. So we've also got we've got Build IT. So William's also saying hi, everyone, as well. So thanks for tuning in. What was you trying to say a few seconds ago, Will? Obviously, I think we've got a bit of a lag issue.
I ordered when I first opened the shop. I went around distributors and asked for some support with point of sale and things, and most of them were really helpful. One in particular sent me some posters and things, and I put them up to find out 1 month later they stopped selling all-in-one computers. And yet I had a big poster up advertising all-in-one computers, and I thought that was just just unreal. So now I've had to change it, and it's those little things that I suppose that if they're not communicating out in an email or anything like that, it's an idea to maybe send a weekly or monthly newsletter of things that they're going to start discontinuing. And I know that's possibly not because there's thousands of devices, products and things. But yeah, it's little niggles that like that get me.
Yeah, we get a similar issue like that is when certain distributors sign up a new vendor and start selling them. Yeah. They'll send maybe a email out or put something on social media, and that's it. I'm going to say we offer a free service where they can send us an email over and we'll do a press release and publish it for them and so forth. But you tend to find they'll get this new vendor on, they shout once, and then they don't say anything about it for the next 3-4 months, and then they wonder why no one's buying the stuff, and then they cancel that vendor, and they go and get stuff from someone else instead. And I've had that happen multiple times. Multiple times I get emails from distributors all the time, and I remember a few times finding it's like, on the website, I didn't know they sold that product. Or that brand, or whatever.
I didn't know they stopped selling it.
Yeah, and then next time you go back, they've stopped selling it. So yes, that's definitely something there.
It's a challenge
if you're wondering
for them.
Yeah. If you guys are wondering why we're having to lean back and forth, and look, we've got a mouse cursor that's jumping all over the place at the moment, which is making things a little bit difficult.
And I have a camera in my line of sight, so I'm having to...
Yeah, it's due to the issues with that, it's causing a few problems. But there we go. So, right, okay, so let's quickly go through the chat while my mouse is actually working. Welshie Tech says delivery services in general have got worse. We've also got... Ken saying, I agree with Will. It's often not the disty that's having the issue. It's the third parties they use. Couriers, as an example. I would prefer to have 2 to 3 couriers to choose from at checkout. Yeah, it'd be nice to have them, because you find certain areas, again, sometimes it's down to the delivery drivers. You can have different experiences. We always found... when we had the store, we used to get the same delivery drivers all the time, or 2 or 3 from the same company at Christmas, like a box of chocolates or something like that to them. A bit like some people do for the bin men and stuff like that, but it sort of helps build a reputation with them.
Yeah,
and,
because he was good enough. He didn't have to, but he was good enough to bring the things into the store and place them where I wanted them, because I could not lift these heavy boxes. The only obligation he really had was to bring them in the store, set them down, there you go. But he just took that little bit of extra time, to help me out. And I showed him how much I appreciated it by always remembering around Christmas or something like that.
I had a great FedEx guy who used to give me a text message when he was due to come round and pick up or drop off. And there was time I forgot about him, and he waited 15 minutes for me. I mean, that was really good of him. And
that's nice.
Yeah, unfortunately, he's away. But it's a third party company. So you can never tell what times they're going to be around and things. So it makes the distributor's life more challenging. Yeah.
I've got praise for I've had every drivers coming around delivering to us at the studio, even at my house, and they are spot on. But if they say they're going to come in this window, you can just about bet that they're going to be there in that window. So
I think it's the luck of the draw sometimes, where you are and who your delivery drivers are, and even sometimes a local depot and so forth. Sometimes you get on this schedule where the delivery drivers always want to drop off at the end of the day. So if there's ever any issues, you're the first person who's not going to get the actual delivery. I can near enough guarantee whenever I see a DPD delivery and it says you're going to get your delivery between 5 and 6, I know it's not going to turn up. So you just know it's not going to happen. It's always going to be the next day, and then you check the tracking and say, right, he's been at stop number 67, we're stop 90, he's been there for the last hour, he ain't coming to see us, he's knocked off early or whatever. So there's definitely things going off there. Do you want to read what Andy said, Jen?
Okay. Would you put it where I can see it? Okay. More disties need to use DPD pin delivery, in my opinion. Okay. So that's definitely an option. Is using the pin option, so which is always good. We've got you better watch out. We've got someone from Exertis watching tonight, so you better not say anything bad about it. So about them. So I wouldn't do that.
But it's nice that the distributors are actually watching the show, because obviously that means they actually care and they want to find out what the problems is. And tonight is the night.
Correct them.
to actually obviously let them know what these issues are.
Yeah.
And we're going to go through the stats in a few minutes and talk about them. So also we've got William saying, anyone fancy a dunk tank for disties at TFT? I'm presuming he means TechMax. Could do with some way to vent when they make our lives difficult.
I like the way
Yes.
he thinks.
Yeah.
I really do.
There we go. So, and great computer services, Exertis who? Okay. Well, I'll let Tamlin explain who Exertis is in the chat, but I'm pretty sure that was a little bit of a sarcastic remark. But there we go. So try and be nice, people. It's a general show.
Let's be nice.
So right, okay. So let me go. The biggest complaint people made on the poll we did, funnily enough, was about pricing or costs of services.
I figured that.
With the biggest issue, and we know it's coming, is going to be compared to Amazon. Which we know it's going to be said. As soon as I did the poll, I thought that's going to be number one, and well, I'm not surprised. Around about 25% of the complaints was regarding that, which I think it's one of those things. Distributors for independents, especially independents, are going to struggle getting pricing down to Amazon's price all the time. It can be a bit difficult. What's your experience with pricing, Will and Carl, with let's say Amazon?
Yeah, it's the thing for Amazon with me is being able to order 11 p.m. at night for next day service. And I know distributors can't match that, and I try to be fair with distributors and get orders in when I can. But if you've got a power supply unit or something needing delivered, you can put an order in at 11 o'clock at night and get it next day. And price wise, what I watch for is you quote something, they'll go away and do their online research and come back and say, I could get this cheaper on Amazon for what you're quoting for. And I don't understand. You've got overheads and charges, this, that, and the next thing in it. It's a tough one. I can sympathise with distributors and what they're trying to do. Where I draw the line, though, is if you can save £20 to £30 on a product on Amazon compared to the distributors, or find that the vendor's selling it cheaper on Amazon, and you think, well, why are they not giving that cheaper price on to the consumer, the business owners that purchase from the distributors? So yeah, it's one of these. Yeah, I don't think they'd ever beat Amazon for certain things anyway, and especially returns. You've quibble returns as well. So it's a difficult one.
Yeah, I think one of the things is with pricing on Amazon as well. These vendors must be offering these things really cheap for Amazon to sell, because obviously Amazon takes a good cut out of any of the sales. So they must be really offering it really, really low, the lower than you probably think. Obviously, just so they can, sell it in bulk, basically. They'll probably just ship it off to the Amazon warehouse, let Amazon deal with all the rest, cut out the distributors, and that's probably where the issue lies.
You want to go over to chat here?
Okay.
We have some banter going on between Tamlin and Great Computer Services going on about Exertis. Tamlin, that's your cue right there to get something going at TechMax right there, so everybody will know you.
Yeah, I'm going to say they'll have to turn up, won't they? Yeah. Do a live show with us as well, Tamlin. Yeah. Let's let everyone know what Exertis is about.
That's it. And she is saying in the last 5 years, delivery pricing is increasing significantly higher. I agree with that. And we have Sanjay from TechPoint Distribution in the chat. Hi, Sanjay. How you doing?
There we go. We're talking about distributors tonight, Sanjay, so you better hide.
I don't know. He's always the first one to sign up for TechMax.
He is.
I can't say anything.
I think out of all the ones we've done, he's usually been first or second.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Ken's saying.
He's saying, dare I say RMAs. It's not often I need to return a product, but it's 2025, can manufacturers disties not get together and come up with a standard? And I agree on that. Sanjay says it's been an indifferent year, I would say, from a distribution view.
Yeah.
Care to elaborate on it, Sanjay, and let us know some things.
Also, Will and Carl, if you wouldn't mind just muting your microphone when you're not talking. Again, we're getting some feedback from somewhere. Sorry to be a pain. So it's just one of those things tonight. It's technical things. But yeah, Sanjay, if anyone hasn't used TechPoint distribution, by the way, they do a lot of mobile phones, tablet stuff and so forth. Obviously, Sanjay, if you want to give yourself a plug and tell people what you do, feel free to do it in chat. I'm going to say we've had good dealings with the guys at TechPoint over the years. So I would suggest you check them out if you haven't already. Right, Carl, what's your opinion on pricing?
Pricing with the distribution, for distribution and that, you're never going to win against Amazon and that. But what's getting me with that sort of things at the moment is the absolute stupidity of the drivers. Sometimes I had a Amazon driver leave a parcel on my doorstep at 8 o'clock the other evening, and it turned out it was a CCTV recorder, so expensive item. Guess what? Wasn't there 20 minutes later.
Oh dear. Yeah.
Somebody was watching that.
Yeah, I'm going to say that's not good, to be honest, when they just leave it on. When it's business stuff as well, that's just crazy. So I'm guessing that wasn't cheap at all. So, right. Let's go over to the next thing on my list. So pricing. Mostly it's all to do with Amazon and other online retailers. There was some specific stores mentioned. One of them mentioned eBuyer. I don't think anyone uses them anymore, to be honest with you, after recent days, but other ones as well. And they're saying that some of the distributors have hidden fees in the pricing and frequent price changes, which frequent price changes they find a bit confusing, considering the distributor should be buying stuff in bulk, so the price should be the same price when they sell it. Again, if any distributors want to clarify why pricing changes so much, if you've ordered 1,000 units and you've still got 500 of them left in the warehouse, why has the price gone up or down? We've got poor updates about promotions, price changes or discounts. Obviously, some distributors have been warning about the SSD and memory prices going up. They're warning some people and not others. And some distributors just don't care. They just want to shift a box, by the sounds of it. Again, this is what the poll says, not what I'm saying. Okay. We'll go on to the next subject in a second. If you want to just read what Sanjay is saying, Joe.
Yeah, Sanjay is elaborating on what he's talking about. He says, well, I think disties are getting drawn into competition with one another and are getting drawn into bringing cheaper products in and therefore lowering their standards, which means pricing is going lower and therefore stores are retailing items lower and it gets into a price war.
Yeah, the race to the bottom is always an interesting one. It's something
that makes sense.
Yeah,
that
it does make
a lot
sense.
Of sense.
You find that with repairs and stuff as well. I used to find it a lot with the mobile phone and tablet side of things more so than the computer repair. That it's like, the guy down the road does it for a £5 cheaper, and someone in their house does it 10 quid cheaper or whatever it may be. But yeah,
he also says that pricing changes are going to happen down to shipping charges, and if by air, sea, exchange rate, etc.
Yeah, that's good. Welshie Tech says eBuyer isn't eBuyer anymore. Yeah, we know that. They sort of went, tits up, putting it politely, or not so politely.
Really?
Yeah. We've got William saying,
disties, you need to streamline the support. This font is awful.
Yeah, I'll change it in a
supported
second.
pricing from brands through the website. Target do this. Others need to step up, as it's a nightmare when price matters. Seeing one with support versus one without it makes others look more expensive. Okay.
Right, I'm just changing that font so we can
Thank
read
you.
it. There we go. There we go. So that's better. I think we've got over the Halloween spirit now, haven't we? So there we go. So yeah. So Sanjay says he's not trying to get involved with those pricing wars,
Good call.
which is a good call. Let's just have a look.
He also says, as distributors, we got to hold up standards, but easier said than done in the current climate.
Yeah, and a comment from Dan as well.
And Dan says, it's interesting to hear about pricing. Most distributors here buy in currency other than GBP. So depending on how they sit on that stock, pricing can and does change daily.
Yep, there you go.
Okay.
I suppose I know some distributors, obviously, they ship from each other as well.
Yep. I've seen it happen.
Yeah, we've been at the distributors before. Distributor A will be at the on the phone to distributor B because they need hard drives and they've run out and so forth. So obviously they all put commissions on each other. So yeah, so definitely. Welsh Tech, is it Halloween? Didn't notice. There we go. And Sanjay says, as distributors, we've got to hold up standards, but easier said than done in this current climate. Yeah, definitely. It's one of those things, unfortunately, is I think every industry does it. I see a lot of distributors doing their own brands as well, which is obviously making things cheaper. In some cases, the quality might be better. Some I can't comment on because they haven't sent products over for review, where other products could be a lot worse as
I
well.
remember some years ago, we used to buy from one distributor. We don't anymore. I don't even know if they're still around. But they sold some really nasty own brands. And I mean, here's Phil and myself at that time. We thought, oh, these are really cheap. We could stick a little profit on these and sell them on until we started getting return.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, they're cheap for a reason. I told Phil, I said, now my grandfather used to always tell me this. I said, he used to always say, it's cheap for a reason, and I'd rather have quality over quantity any day of the week.
Mm-hmm. That's it. Right, let's jump up. Right, time's flying by. 45 minutes into the show already, and we've only got through part one. So, stock and product availability was the next thing on our list. A lot of people were saying the stock always out or low, specifically on specific lines. The stock choice isn't great. Lack of visibility on the ETA of out of stock items, so when they're getting restocks in, and in some cases, some distributors will sell a certain product or brand, and then they don't sell the accessories or extra things what actually go with it. So that's stock and product availability. Have you ever had much issue with stock availability, Will?
Yeah, just these all-in-one computers that I started advertising, and then they stopped doing them.
Yeah,
So
definitely. You
I was
mentioned
quite
earlier.
disappointed with that. It was a new brand as well that one of the distributors selling, and they're still doing other desktops and things, but they stopped doing the all-in-ones. And I had one particular company that wanted 4 or 5 all-in-one computers, so yeah, I had to go to the bigger vendor to get one to get them sorted, but more money. Stock wise, yeah, another product, CCTV, one of the brands, the CCTV cameras. I had to stop selling that one as well because the stock had run quickly, and as far as I know, it's not came back yet. So, but going point here to take the fact that my account manager WhatsApps me as well. So I'm liking the WhatsApp messages back in stock and deals and all this sort of thing. So yeah, I think that's me personally a good way forward. You keep in contact either team WhatsApp, because I keep getting deals coming in, and it's Yeah, I like that. So thumbs up to Sanjay at TechPoint.
Okay, so there you go. There's a thumbs
There
up
you
for
go.
Sanjay there. Will, just to let you know, your audio's breaking up a little bit, unfortunately, but I think people got the gist of what you were saying about that. So just to let you
We
know.
need to go into chat.
Let's just go to Carl first with the same subject. Carl, have you had any stock or product availability issues?
Generally been lucky on that one, and that the parts I've been after have been there. So, obviously, like everybody else, been doing quite a few builds on that recently with the Windows 10, Windows 11 changeover. And apart from one supplier with there was a case that I like that they ran out of. That was about the only problem I've had recently.
Okay.
That's all right.
That's good. So you've had not too bad of an issue there. So Jen, if you want to go through, start at the top and we'll work way down.
Okay. Dan says, for all of that with stock, etc., utilize your account manager. We can keep you informed wherever needed. I've got to say that I'm with him on that. Talk to your account manager, form a relationship with them. I'm a believer in this. In each supplier that we use, I can call up whoever it is and say, here's what I need. Can you get it to me in XYZ day? And
there we go. Sanjay's saying he has a response to this very topic. So, feel free if you've got a response.
He's already said it.
Yeah, so...
he says, sorry, I've got a lot to say. And
yeah.
Scroll down.
Sanjay, again, if you ever want to do a live show with us on here,
Be happy
with
to have
TechPoint, have you on. You can go for everything, show off what products and services you do. Feel free to join us.
And
we
it's
do
free.
it quite often. And it's free. We don't charge for doing these live shows, even though for some reason some people think we do. Sanjay was saying...
Everyone needs to buy smarter and be more proactive and really look at what stock is your best sellers and keep your bread and butter items in stock. He's right. Speaking from when Phil and I had the shop, we fell victim to the, this is on sale, let's get lots of it. And 3 years later, that headset still was sitting there. I'll never forget it. There was a headset sitting there 3 years later. 4 years later, the keyboard that matched it was still sitting there. And I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, couldn't get rid of those no matter what. It was decent brand as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a big brand. And we weren't charging a fortune. We even put it on sale once. You couldn't give it away.
Yeah, I don't like sales. But there we go. Right, so one from William there.
We have gone to reorder items only to be told it is discontinued or EOL. If it's EOL, put it on the website. We don't want to offer items for sale if we can't get more stock of it.
Yeah, I agree with that
agree
one.
with that.
What I would suggest distributors do, if they know they've got someone who buys a lot of that specific brand, they contact them and let them know and tell them what options they've got going forward. I know it's probably quite hard doing that, but it can't be that hard making up a spreadsheet to figure out who buys what. This day and age, I can do it pretty simple. I'm pretty sure.
Failing that, you could just make a mass bulk email and say, we'll no longer be selling this brand, that brand. This brand comes, this model comes to EOL in and just massive email all the customers, and then they're covered. There's no excuse. If you didn't get it, you didn't read your email.
I think one of the things with a lot of distributors, and this goes for a lot of brands full stop, they don't like to air the dirty laundry, as in stuff
that's not dirty laundry.
It's not really dirty laundry, but what I'm saying is they don't want to say something negative. They only want to put positive stuff out there.
But it's not negative, because when their customer comes to buy that item that they've been carrying for ages, they're going to be more pissed off that they didn't get notification, then they would have been going, oh, I see they're not with them anymore. Ooh, I wonder what happened there. No, that doesn't happen in the real world. No.
It might not to the people who actually resell that product, but to the people who actually don't resell that product, it goes, oh, look, distributor ABC, they're no longer selling this. And then they get another email a week later, they're no longer sell this brand. They get another email. People see more negatives than they do positives. So even though if they send out 2 emails...
I still would just rather be kept up to date. No matter what.
Yeah, I personally would, but I'm just going from their point of view, or potentially their point of view. Right, let's go on to the next one, because we've got about 10 minutes of the show. The third biggest problem, what people have with distributors, and this is personally is my number one issue, is returns, RMAs, and after-sales support. That was around 16% of the votes covered different things. So one of the issues is obviously returns to the manufacturer rather than the distributor you bought it from. Personally, if I still had a store, if there was a distributor A, what had all the returns go to them rather than having to send them back to the vendors, what actually supply them, I would use that distributor over any of the others, even if they were slightly more expensive, to be honest with you, because when I'm returning, I want to return stuff, I want to get it straight back. I don't want to send it off to whatever vendor it is. Let's just say, I don't know, let's say you bought a case, it's a Cooler Master case, okay, and you've suddenly got to send it off to Cooler Master. I don't know what their terms and services are, but you've got to send it off to Cooler Master rather than distributor. Then it ends up going through the same rigmarole a lot of the time as a standard user would when they're returning an item. So in that 3 to 4 weeks it takes them to sort the problem out. You've got an upset customer. You've probably had to go out of your own pocket to buy a replacement case or even supply something completely different for them. And then when you get the item back, it's either repaired or it's a product you don't want. And if it's obviously repaired, you're not going to be able to sell it as new, so you're going to lose out. So that's my problem with RMAs.
I had a distributor tell me one time that if I had, let's just say, a graphics card that needed RMAing, that they would send me that card even swap instead of making me wait around and dance on my toes while they diagnose the problem and And I thought, right, you just got my business right there. You know, not just limited to graphics cards and things like that, but for example, you know, a lot of times you have to wait for them to run their own diagnostics and everything, or be told you need to send it to the manufacturer, be it Gigabyte or whoever it is. And I don't have time for that, because you got your customer that's waiting on that, if it's being sold on, or if it's my own personal card, I'm having to sit around and I can't play games. That's not a happy life for Phil here. If I can't play games, he's not living the best quality life.
That's it. So going with what the chat's saying, that basically the main things on the RMAs, returns and stuff, is slow turnaround, confusing policies, blame shifting. I've come across that in the past. And then in some cases, restocking fees, because obviously it's something you didn't want back because obviously you've had to supply something else. That seems to be the biggest issues. If you want to just go through the chat, you got Michael Wood at the top.
Michael says make money to handle the returns, as do vendors. It should not go to manufacturer unless past the normal warranty. I got to agree with that. Sanjay says returns have to come back to the distributor. We have to deal with that. And the brands in China do tend to support you. But we got to take the rough with the smooth.
Okay, that's good.
And Andy says that's our real issue. The disties, RMA, and aftercare, some much better than others.
Yeah, we've come across a mixture in the past. So have you, obviously you've already mentioned a few of the bits, have you Will had any issues with the RMA system?
It just seems to take forever. You know,
Hasn't it though?
you can buy the product in 24 hours. And it's sent to you within 24 hours. If you return the product, I feel that you've got to chase it. You know, you've got to keep on top of your account manager or distributor itself. Um, yeah, I try and think of it from the distributor side of view. They've got to go back to manufacturer, etc., and refund. They don't like to give refunds. That's what it comes down to, is that they don't want to give
Hmm.
refunds because it's taking money out of their pocket. But as long as it's a genuine request for a return, if it's a faulty product, then it needs to be, it needs to speed up. It's like one of the chats said about vendors and distributors getting together to make a standard sort of RMA. But there is, I mean, you've got rights as a business, as a consumer, you've
Yeah.
got rights. But yeah, it just seems to take forever.
Yeah, so you have more rights as a consumer than a business
Yeah,
buying from a
I know.
distributor.
I know.
It always makes me laugh sarcastically that it takes 5 minutes to purchase. It takes 25 days to get a refund.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, and that's if you're lucky.
Yeah,
That's just
I know.
not on.
What about yourself, Carl? Have you had much in the way of RMA issues?
Luckily, don't get much in the way of returns for some reason, so I've been okay. On the odd, it's only been the odd keyboard or something like that, which, when it comes down to the cost of it, you kind of write it off anyway.
Yeah, sometimes I must admit we've done that in the past. If it's been like cheap keyboards, mouse, and speakers and stuff like that, or even a power supply in a cheap case or something
Costs
like
more to
that.
send it back.
Yeah, it costs more to send it back sometimes, or you've got to get quite a bit together before you send it back.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely. Right, let's quickly go through the other things what were mentioned because it's coming to the end of the show. Next thing highest voted for was delivery, packaging and logistics. So obviously we've already mentioned about DPD and other delivery companies, usually missed or late deliveries, items arriving damaged or poorly packaged. That's a common thing. So it seems, and I must admit I've seen it quite a few times. You'll get a box. They'll put the product in the box, and then they put foam all around the sides and the top, but there's no foam on the bottom of the box, which is the main bit. What's going to get impact when it gets dropped on the floor and kicked around and so forth. And I've found like small items in big boxes and stuff. So yeah, we've also got account managers and communications is another high one. Again, this is a bit of a mixed bag. Some are saying they're hard to reach the account managers. Other people are saying the account managers reach out too much. So depends on which way round. But obviously, some of them.
That's a personal thing, though.
And again, and I've seen this one personally before, is reaching out to account managers. Sometimes when they go on holidays or stuff like that, they don't either A, notify you, or B, they don't have an auto response on the email. Or nowadays, people are tending to use Teams or WhatsApp or whatever. They don't have a notification set when they're away. So you send them a message and you expect them to get back to you, and then it's later in the day, and then you're having to chase someone else at the company and so forth. So that's a
And if
a
you're
common
like
thing I've
me,
seen.
you don't want to talk to anyone else. You want your account manager.
Yeah, also got hard to reach customer service. High staff turnover was not one of the greatest things people voted for. It seems to be pretty not too bad, but it was mentioned. And then overpromising sale reps. But again, those were pretty small things. Next, again, I'm going through this pretty quick because it's the end of the night. Next is website and system functionality. Some websites have outdated. Some websites have apparently been remade, and the search functions are appalling. Inaccurate stock sometimes on there, and the RMA systems tend to be a bit clunky, is the best way to put it. Otherwise, we do have a list of no major complaints. So delays between ordering and dispatch. So it seems like they're dispatching the stuff pretty quick. Misleading information's pretty low. and lack of technical knowledge seems to be very low. As in,
that is for a first right there, because usually someone will say that the account manager just doesn't know the first thing about tech. So that's coming up.
So just to summarize, is basically pricing and costs, stock and product availability, returns are the main three things, to be honest, what most people are concerned about. Obviously, everyone's different. Again, we like to be positive as well. So we've had a show on a few months ago about positive sides. We're going to be doing some more polls and surveys. This is something we do every year to see if things are changing or not. And then we pass on the feedback to the distributors. Obviously, they don't have to reply or respond to it, but we just let them know. And that's why some of them are watching tonight.
And as I've been watching tonight, when I can catch it, I've been taking my own poll to see what your complaints were. I have a little tally sheet. Delivery problems was number 1, and followed by RMA and prices.
Yeah, so pretty similar sort of things. So again, we've said it in the past. Obviously, the biggest issue, pricing against Amazon. Don't try and compete against Amazon. You'll get nowhere. It's going to be very hard. You either need to sell stuff what Amazon doesn't sell, which is very unlikely. You'll find anything like that. Or sell products if you can as a service. So obviously include setting up the product, like going around people's houses or offices or whatnot and setting it up, sell it as part of the service. I know it can be a bit difficult, but you tend to find that tends to work, or did work for us the best way when we had the store and the call out service. So, but there we go. Right. Any final thoughts from Will and Karl before we go over to the chat and call it a night? So, Will, you first. Any final thoughts?
Yeah, not particularly, but it's an interesting one. I know pricing would be the biggest issue, and then delivery and returns. Those are the 3 issues for me as well. It'd be good if there was more choices for delivery couriers. You know, if you can, even if I was wanting to pay a little bit more, which I'm quite happy to do for 1 o'clock or another courier and things like that. That'd be handy for some distributors. Yeah.
Okay, sounds pretty good. And Karl.
Well, you mentioned about websites and that earlier, and that there's something I was going to bring up on that. I actually had one of the distributors I use for toner cartridges, etc., and that they actually changed their whole domain name and that without telling anybody.
Oh gosh.
So basically, I went to their old site and it comes up saying suspended. And if it wasn't for the fact I actually rang the telephone number I had for them, I would have been on the impression they'd gone bust.
That's stupid. That reminds me of a time when I had the internet service provider FreeServe, and this was the days when broadband was new out, so everyone had moved out. Well, not everyone, but a few people had moved over from dial-up to broadband, and this was a day where it was basically a box, what you'd USB connecting to your PC. You didn't have a router or anything like that, and I remember them changing the login username for everyone. Instead of it being your email address, it had to have an @FS and then your email address. But they didn't decide. Well, they did tell everyone, but they emailed everyone. But the problem is no one could log on to the internet to get the email. And that was the days before, obviously, everyone had smartphones. So no one could get their email anywhere else. And then you called up the help service line and they didn't know anything about it either. Typical, but right, okay. Do you want to quickly go through the chat, Jen, what we've missed?
All right. At the top, I've been lucky when it comes to RMAs, not really had anything to RMA, and that's great computers. William is replying to himself. I've just been told by a disty this week 2 to 3 months for credits back from brands. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm sorry, that is ridiculous.
That's ridiculous.
I'd be questioning buying from them, to be honest.
I was fixing to say, that they really would not want to be on the receiving end of me if they had told me that, because I'm very tight with my money. I like my money. And if I spend it with you, you should consider it an honor and a privilege. And if I want it back, you're going to give it to me. So that
Exactly.
I would have hated to
Yeah.
have been them if it was me.
Yeah, I think it's something what distributors really have to get better on is the RMAs, especially when you've got the complaints about pricing from Amazon. Okay, yes, you're not going to compete a lot of times they do, but there's going to be things they can't compete, especially when Amazon offers pretty much a refund straight away. As soon as you say there's something wrong, send it back. They'll give you a refund within a day or replacement item.
Or you can just say, I don't want it anymore, and they've just dispatched it, and they'll say, oh, well, don't pick it up at the place that you got it sent to. And
don't get me wrong, there's lots of reasons, and we've done this in previous shows and in future shows we'll do it again, to use distributors. But they do need to learn that this is common things going over and over again. Obviously the pricing, as we said, doing against Amazon probably not so much, but against other online retailers, and then stock availability, and then especially the RMAs, that seems to cause issues.
A distributor's hidden gem is their customer service. And if they don't do customer service right, they're really missing out on a trick. Because that is the reason to use them versus Amazon. Is that they're going to care for you. They're going to care for their customer better. They're going to go out of their way to help you. That's the jewel in their crown that they need to keep polished.
Yeah, exactly. Right, guys, we're going to call it there. It's the end of the night. So thank you for watching. We will have another show. We've got a show on in a couple of weeks' time again with the one we had to cancel last week, but we just got to confirm a few things on that. So that was the with the cyber security and stuff like that. Otherwise, we'll be back in a few weeks after that as well. So there we go. So but if you do have any anything you would like to say about distributors and stuff, or you want to vote on these polls are still active if you're on the Facebook page, or the group, should I say. If you go in the Facebook group where we've got like 2,000 members, feel free to fill in the surveys, or if you haven't already, I think one of them's got well over 200 votes on it. The other one's probably just a little bit under.
Feedback.
It's feedback. The distributors, a lot of distributors will not send out surveys or questionnaires or anything like that. And I think we might take it a little bit further on an anonymous style system on the website where people can say how they think about specific distributors, and we'll pass that on to the distributors themselves rather than naming and shaming and stuff like that.
We're not going to do the name and shame.
So, but again, that's totally down to you guys if you want to go down that route or not. But anyway, so it's 9:10.
I'd like to thank Will and Carl for joining us tonight, being on the show, taking out of your busy schedules and things that you could be doing that are a lot more fun than this. But thank you for joining us. And to everyone that took time and out of whatever you could have been doing and tuned in and had your say, and to the distributors that came back and explained things to us about things. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. So, and it'd be nice to see some of the distributors like TechPoint and so forth, and Exertus, and any others who haven't taken part in the live shows to actually come on the show, join us, tell us about your business and show us what you have to offer. And again, apologies to anyone with the audio issues and stuff tonight. We've had a bit of feedback, we've had sound breaking out, and a few different other issues, and we've had an issue where our mouse, where we can't actually click on anything. And saying that, it looks like Carl's disappeared after after all that and gone offline. But so again, thank you everyone. Thanks, Will, for joining us, and we'll see you all on the next show.